collecting papers. That's pretty much the whole objective of the game, isn't it? I mean, one, we have the enemy, which we're working on, but we have our objective. Now, honestly, I've answered so many questions on collect papers and that, even though I said it's cool to ask me anything. I really don't want to cover picking up papers again. I've done it in several videos as well as my written stuff. So just click on me, come back to my video page, and then go back to the old Slender guide. So down, 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 down. Okay, here's where it finishes up. So there's a couple of standalone videos I've done using a raycast and then developing into a much better method using a sphere cast. So now we're going to put in the collect papers, jump down to here, watch video 10, and when you finish video 10 you will have this script right here. Okay? So what are we going to do? Let's create a script in our project for that. So scripts, create JavaScript, collect papers. Okay, so open that up in our Unity, and as I said, as you do video 10 you will end up with this script. With all the stuff I've mentioned in our recent raycasting videos and things like that, there's even a debug that you can uncomment so that you can see where your player is casting to pick up the papers. So there's just the basics. Let's save that out. Let Unity compile it. And of course this is part of our first person control. Look, we're going to rename that right now. Okay. Now this is our player. Okay, so now on our player we have all our character controller stuff that comes with Unity. So there's nothing I've changed there. And we're going to grab that new collect papers script and we're going to drop it right in there like that. Okay, I think I've set the variables to stuff I'm happy with there, so there's no modifications after you do the video. Save the scene, of course. Alright, now we need some papers to pick up, I guess. So let's add them to our scene. Let's just go to the scene. Okay, let's find our player. Of course, you've got this wonderful world that you've created yourself. Hopefully looking much better than mine. You're going to be plonking down some landmarks, some buildings, some things like that. In my first guide I had a nice radio tower that I could reference some kind of place in the world. Alright. So my point being was we're going to create 8 papers and scatter them around the world. Now let's first create the papers. Now for testing, I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did last time. I'm going to put them all in a bunch together, all in one spot, just so I don't have to run around and find them and then collect them. Where's a flat spot? I've got a divot here. Let's just put them on top of the hill. Okay, so let's create our papers, our paper game objects. Start off, create a cube. Let's just give us a little bit more on the inspector. Okay, we created a cube, so that comes in with a box collider and a renderer. It's coming under the terrain, so I can't see it. Let's bring it in. World. And normally you had them about eye height, so that's up to 1 meter. Let's just add one. Let's add 1 unit onto that. So it started at 53, so let's just bring it up 1 unit, so that should hopefully be around about eye height. Of course, this is what playtesting is all about. Get into your scene, have a walk around, make sure things are in the right place and look right for you and the player. Okay, so we have a cube. Rename your cube. Paper. So we have a game object now that is named paper. Let's scale it. Now I'm using these values because they fit in with the textures that I'm using, and I'll get to that in a moment. And because it's a paper, we'll make it nice and thin. I mean, it still has a box collider, but it's not moving, so we're not dealing with moving physics collisions. So for a raycast purpose, we should have no problems picking up that collider. So there we have it, our paper object. That's all there is to it. It's a box that has been scaled and, most importantly, named paper. Alright, so let's duplicate that out. Just going to start with 4. Same thing, if I know that's on the ground, let's just try and bring it up to eye height. I really picked a slope to put these on. And where's the 4th one? Still hidden in there somewhere. Okay, so we've just got 4 to start with. Now let's duplicate all of them again. So we've now made 8. And hopefully I won't have to do much repositioning for these guys. Yeah, let's give them a bit of distance in between them at least. There. Bring it a little bit more. This one here is probably a little bit too high. No, not too bad. I'm pretty sure we can pick that up. Okay, so we have 8 paper objects. All they are cubes that have been scaled and named paper. Right, and again, while I was just having a quick break and I was browsing around some other questions and comments, both on Unity Answers and YouTube, there was a question about the textures. So again, that's why I brought up my link to the SlenderGuide. If we go to the SlenderGuide, come down to the old guide, find where the written guide is. Now I keep linking that because it's the best gauge of how many people are looking at it. And when I started these videos, this was on 16,000. Now it's been seen 20,000 times. That's numbers that I just cannot comprehend. Okay, so this is another point I want to make out. Alright, I posted this quite clearly, and I know I'm probably sounding like I'm having a little bit of a whinge, but this is the negative side to the positive side of the forums. Like I said, Answers is not the place to be doing this, especially just reposting my scripts and asking questions on them again. I'm more than happy to help anyone on the forum page, so please come to the forum page. Okay, the point of this being, okay, we'll go through all this information, back to the first original written guide, well over 12 months ago. How to make a Slender. So we've got ambience flashlight, how to pick up papers, and here it is right here. Where do I get my textures from? From another excellent post on Slender. Like I said, there's plenty more out there. So let's just go back because I'm going to need some information there. So what does it say? There are some images that can be found on page 5. Alright, right there. So let's jump to that. 5. Okay. Like I said, excellent. And even if you use these textures, you should come along and say thanks. There we go, look, there's a cookie there. So, page 5, down, have a look around. There we are. It's a little bit hidden. I've made the textures for the pages now. Okie doke. So you can grab all your textures from here. Make sure you say thanks. It's always good to give credit. And there's a little sneaky one there. There was where I was using the original model, which is untextured, but still a fantastic model. You know, what a great effort, and what great talent. Okay, so pages. Back to it. We just created 8 papers. Now, I've already popped these into a package, so I'm going to go import package, custom package. And just like I said, see, look, I've even exported my terrain twice. There was too much grass on that one. So let's look at what I've got in my Slender Assets package. Okay. I only want textures for now. going to come to sounds much later. So there's those textures that I just mentioned. I'm not going to use those. We're just going to bring in all those textures. Import. Now where did they go? Hopefully in my special little textures folder. Okay, there we are. Here. Oh, that was from the previous sure. Now, something back into the assets video I was talking about. Importing your textures. Now, can we set multiple import settings? Yes, we can. So all these are the same shape. Now, currently, the way they are imported, probably going to come in with a window like that. First of all, check the size of your paper. I think I've rescaled these. Okay, 600 by 900. So the largest dimension is 900. Something weird happened then. Ah, it's opened 8 pages for 8 textures. Okay, back to it. So the largest size was 900. So let's just leave it on 1024. And I do set it to true color. Apply. Okay, and you see they've been squished in. They're not at a scale that they were. They're too thin. So we have to go to advanced. And see where it says non-power of 2? See how Unity set it to the nearest. So 1024, that's 512. It's power of 2 of that. So I just modified that to 512. Now we want to not use their scaling at all. We want to use our own dimensions. So there we go, set it to none, hit apply. And there we go. You would have seen them. They've whacked back out. There they are in their original size. Now, we have to make some materials. They're textures, but we need them to be applied to the material with a shader and that so we can see what's going on. So I'm going to make the first one in real time, and then I'm just going to pause it and quickly throw the others together. So create a new material, and let's just call them page 1. So you get the idea. Create material, page 2. You're going to do this 8 times. And then, when you've created your 8 materials, you're going to select your material, drag and drop your texture right in there. And we have the preview. So there's our material created from our texture. I'm just going to use the default diffuse shader, and then we're going to pick a paper. Okay, so we've created a material. Let's apply that to that paper. And there we have it. Now, if you notice, see it looks like it's upside down, but if we really look at the object, there's the forward of the object. So if we turn to look at the forward of the object, there, it's not upside down, it's just the way Unity Cube works. If you're looking at the back face, you're going to get a reverse image. Okay, so my suggestion with things like this is, you could either create another cube without a collider on the back and then have that page turn the right way around, or I reckon the easiest solution is just whack this paper up right up against a flat surface or even a tree. Stick a little nail in it so it's like it's nailed to the tree. So if the person comes from this direction, hopefully there'll be a big tree in the way and they won't see that it's upside down. Or again, if it's on the side of a building, it's going to be on the side of a building. So you're only going to see the forward facing face. Okay? So like I said, you're going to go through, you're going to create 8 materials. You're going to apply those textures to the material, and then you're going to put them onto each paper. So I'm just going to pause it here and finish all them up. So now we're all caught up. So there we have our 8 page materials, our 8 paper materials, and we have our 8 paper objects, and we've applied our materials to all our papers. There we have it. So that's pretty much all the setup done. Let's run around and make things happen. You know what? Can I rotate all these together? There we can too. So if I come forward facing this way, facing upwards for me. Fantastic. Made some changes, so of course save your scene. Now, let's hit play. So we've added 8 pages to our scene. Gosh knows where they are. I guess that's the fun of it, isn't it? There they are. So we come up to our paper. That is a bit bright on there. I have to play with the intensity a little bit more. It does wash out a little bit much. So, if you remember from video 10, in the editor, use the E. You can use the mouse click, but sometimes it breaks in the editor. So, use the E, and there we are. We've just consumed a paper. Just to prove the point, I'll get the mouse. There we go. So we'll work with the mouse in your game. Now they're real colliders. So there we go. Either using the E. I'm just going to bring up the console for a second. Resume play. Let's check that console. Do I have the debug there? No, I don't. I must have the debug just for the last paper. Okay. So pick that up. We've got the one next to it. That's interesting. And there we go. And from the script, there you have it. You have collected all papers. So we're going on to moving on to the next scene from there. Just to recap, 8 cubes, scaled and resized, named paper. Textures and materials applied. Use the E or the mouse to pick them up. And when you pick them all up, you do get a debug. Now, this is the beauty of the Unity in the console here. I can simply double click on this message right here. It opens up the script and it highlights the line where that came from. So, just like it's saying, this is our win condition. Load win scene here. So this is our win condition. We've collected all the papers. So this is where we change scenes. We can go to the next level, or we can go to end game. Save that out. Okay, so there we have it. We've just thrown in a couple more things, played around with the light cookie, and added all our papers.